one. Hack. It is 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And thankfully, this is the time to get into episode 1.5 of what I'm going to call the Silver Bullet, where I shoot my interests. And one of the interests that I'm getting back into is the sweet science, the art of pugilism. And I'm certain that this man to my left knows a thing or two about that. His name is Jack Alter. A couple things about him. He is an emerging combat sports commentator who is persistent in his punch prediction and consistent in his count of punches landed. And you can see that throughout all of his YouTube work, including his interview of Jim Lampley, Angelo Leo, and Jarmel Herring. And what I want to do is I want to hear your story. Who is Jack Alter?
Hey, what's up? Good to be here, brother. My name is Jack Alter. Like you said, I'm 24 years old. I've been into the sport of boxing for 10 years now. When I was 14, I got into it. So 10 years. I saw the Creed movie and the Rocky movies in 2015, and something changed in me. And I was like, you know what? Like I want something to do with this. I love this so much. This means a lot to me. And yeah, I've been past couple of years. I've been on social media like boxing, Twitter, whatever, for really like 9 years now. Really for a long time. But I've really like blown up or gotten bigger in the past couple of years because I've been putting more work in. So yeah, I love boxing with all my heart. I'm also doing like just TikTok, social media stuff on the side. And yeah, boxing is my love. It's my passion. And I'm happy to come here and talk about it with you.
Perfect. Total history of your boxing experience. Were you ever amateur? Did you ever like fight competitively, or was this something that you started to get into like middle school, high school, college?
Yeah, I was middle school. I was 14. No, 14. So I was right about to get into high school. So like all throughout high school, I studied boxing. I had 3 amateur fights. I went 2-1 as an amateur. I have a little USA booklet. The first fight I had, I was really nervous, and I couldn't fight up to my full potential, and the dude just outworked me. The next 2, the pressure like for being in a fight was just a lot too, and I couldn't do my full potential, but I still ended up winning. I'm 24 still. I'm very young. I want to have some fights here in this soon. Maybe it's on Brand Risk, maybe it's on Misfits, maybe some influencer boxing. I feel like that'd be better for just me because I can really box like better than everyone there, and it's also not as intense as like pro boxing. Yeah, I had 3 fights, went 2-1 as an amateur. I studied boxing all throughout high school. And dude, when I say like I studied all throughout high school, dude, in study hall, when everyone was doing homework, here I was over here watching Riddick Bowe, Vander Holyfield, Trilogy, all same thing on the school bus, bro. I remember like 9th grade, freshman year, I was on the school bus. I was watching Ali and Foreman, like while everyone else was just talking. I was on my phone watching Ali versus Foreman rumble in the jungle, doing my own thing. And so boxing has been a really important part of my life the past 10 years.
Yeah, I kind of got into it later in life, so I didn't even pick it up until the college era, and then I started doing the exact same thing. Like it was motive video boxing, modern martial artists, and Office Honcho. Like those 3 like are constantly in my rotation.
Office Honcho is great. Office Honcho is great. All of those guys are.
Yeah, studying the sweet science, and it's not just the movies. Like yes, Rocky and Creed, like those are amazing movies. But especially when I listen to Office Honcho, how he talks about like the Eastern boxing, especially considering we're about 1 week removed from the Naoya Inoue fight. Like, shut up, phone's stupid going off. But yeah, like a lot of East Asian boxing, and even just like one championship or the UFC, things like that. Seeing it outside of just the UFC or ESPN or DAZN, like as a Western audience, really seeing how the talent is on the other side of the world too. And I think that's one thing that I'm really excited for, especially this year, because Inoue. Is he fighting Nakatani next? Because I know he won.
Yeah, I believe that fight is going to happen next in Japan, and I'm honestly the worst guy to ask for like the Inoue fight because I missed both. I missed the Inoue fight too because I don't wait, dude, for these Japanese fights. Like I stopped waking up so early. And it's funny. Like I mentioned in high school, I watched Inoue, dude. I watched Inoue. I remember like sophomore year. In math class in the morning, geometry class, bro. Inoue, one of his fights was on. So I was like younger and I waked up earlier because I was in school to watch his fights. But now, like if I don't have to wake up early, like I'll just watch his highlights later. So I didn't even see the highlights of Nakatani or Inoue, but you have to believe like those 2, I mean, they're facing off in press conferences, like when they're not even fighting each other yet. So you have to think that that's next.
Yeah. So those are the 2 fights. So it's that fight, and the big one I'm looking for is Shakur versus Teofimo. Those are the 2 fights, and I was oftentimes I was actually supposed to go to one of those fights in May, but I had some some things and stuff come up, so I had to cancel my trip, cancel my plans. I just had some duty things that I had to take care of. But I will typically like go to the fights, and I will do the whole punch prediction. I'll see if I can predict the round, the X or Y will happen. Matter of fact, I'm a little bit pissed because I had my shirt from Garcia versus Tank, and that was the first fight that I ever went to live in person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also from Maryland, by the way, but I'm from the DMV, so I just know for a fact that Tank had to win that one for the state of Maryland. But that's really what I'm into. But I've asked, your opinion on, you talked about misfit boxing or sort of like the alternative combat sports mediums. How do you feel about those? Because I truly think that we have a lot of undiscovered talent in there, because we see Salt Poppy, we see Chocolatito, we see some of the people, like some of it, yeah, it is a little bit like of a gag, but I do see like a lot of talented fighters that maybe might have that as a place to come into the sport proper, whereas the ability to enter through the standard gym, we're seeing more of an expansion of that now.
Yeah, I think some of it's good and some of it's bad. I feel like with misfits, it really, I think you've already summed it up pretty well. Like some of it is like a gag, some of it's not, but some of it can be really fun. Like you mentioned Salt Poppy. And, if I like go into misfits, because I'm going to really try 2026 to really grow my brand. Like this past year, 2025, I was kind of taking like a break, really. Like 2024, I really like locked in a little bit. 2025, I kind of went back, and then 2026, I'm gonna really try to like get in contact with these people and get in contact with the fights. But misfits, it's also brand risk, which is what Aiden Ross does. I mean, I think it's interesting that you're getting these influencers to fight. Like some of these guys have never had any experience before. Like me, I've had experience, so that's why I'm really intrigued in like doing it, because I feel like I would do very well on that scene.
Yeah. And it's kind of like what it used to be for UFC, because I remember Kimbo Slice was like a street fighter. Like he was doing, like backyard brawls, but then he ended up actually in the UFC proper. So I think this is just we're late 2020s now. I guess this is just the late 2020s iteration of that same thing, where it used to be just like old YouTube. It's just a couple guys in like a 480p camera in their backyard just doing silly stuff. But now it's more televised, it's more marketable, and I want to see if between this and my buddy Elvis, he'll definitely have a thing or two to say about this. But seeing how boxing is now becoming more proper in Riyadh, how the king out there is sort of getting things in Saudi Arabia. I'm seeing like sort of the three kings, the three pillars of boxing media in different avenues. Like it's not just the whole ESPN proper anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it sure is weird though. I'm surprised it's happening. Like all these influencers. I think like Jake Paul started all of it when he fought. No, it was Logan Paul, and it was his brother Logan Paul. Like 2017-ish, he fought KSI, and then just kind of blew up from there. I mean, because it's interesting. People, I think the influencers like saw like how cool boxing is, and they're like, you know what, like let's try this. Like let's bring these people. So I think it is cool that people are seeing more boxing, but it is kind of, I don't know, it's good and bad,
Yeah. Because I mean, one thing that I used to say to one of my friends is, I think what's so interesting about boxing is just like all of its ties to American history and American culture. You see fighters like Sonny Liston, guys were fighting in like the 19 and the 1800s that were trying to basically fighting for their freedom and fighting under dire circumstances. And I think divorcing that history and divorcing the sweet science, the pugilism of it for what is now sort of like an entertainment thing, it leaves a bitter taste in the mouth of the people that like it, for the sport, but it's also more brand recognition. And I mean, that's really just money makes the world go round. So I do think you got to take the good with the bad, because I truly do think that Jake Paul had the chops to be a great fighter. I don't know what he's doing now. I've heard some rumors about him retiring. I know he fought Anthony Joshua, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that people like him have the chops to be great fighters. And I do think they have the potential, as much as I hate that word, the potential to sort of propel boxing into the future. Because one of the questions I was going to ask is, who do you think is going to be the next big name in boxing? Tank is, I don't know if he's fully retired or if he's eking towards retirement. Terrence Crawford just hung it all up. Guys like Canelo, like, yes, they're getting older. They're probably going to take more of a step back role. They're probably not going to get the huge blockbuster pay-per-view fights, I'd say, in the next 5 to 10 years. So the biggest question now is, who is next?
That's a really hard question. That's a really hard question to answer.
I got my list of names, but I want your opinion because you're more tapped into this than I am.
The first name that came to my head, but I kind of had like, I was like, oh, I don't know. I shouldn't really like listen to my brain on that. I was thinking Boots Ennis because I think Boots Ennis is very good.
Yep.
But Boots Ennis, his personality, he doesn't really like appeal to like, he doesn't have that personality of like a, you know, like a top star. You know, like you look at guys like Ryan Garcia, I don't think he has like the potential to be like, oh, he can destroy everybody. I mean, you just lost to Rolly Romero. And I know I used to be friends with Ryan and everything, so I don't want to like badmouth him or anything, but it's like I can't really give you I can't think of a name. I want to hear your names, and then I'll see if I agree.
So one name that's coming to the top is I'm seeing Abdullah Mason. I'm seeing his knockout potential, and it's a little bit more overshadowed by some of the rest of the major fighters, but I think he has a lot of potential. One fighter that I don't know where he's at now, Josh Kelly. I would say he's still my favorite fighter in this era because right around the time that I got into boxing, he sort of had like the Lomachenko style. Like he was very agile. He had, they call it, the ultra instinct, style where he can just, dodge without looking, fighting with his hands down. And then he had that fight with Avanesian, and it's just like, ooh, I hadn't seen as much from him, but he's one of my favorites. I do like Ryan Garcia, but like I said in the Tank fight, I said he sells off that left hook too much because I predicted that fight down to the punch because Tank has too high of a boxing IQ to do something like that. He just does. People think that he's from Baltimore and because he sounds like that he's dumb. No, he's not. He will see you do 2 or 3 mistakes, and in 3 rounds, he will download you. And that's exactly what happened. He had that knockdown in round 2, and then in round 7, he got knocked down with a body shot. Same circumstance. And I think as much as I love him, because I'm a really huge fan of Ryan Garcia too, and I've had a couple of back and forth with him too. But as much as I like Ryan Garcia, it's just seeing stuff like that happen, it really does rattle you. I call it sort of like the not Holly Holm, the girl that she beat, Ronda Rousey. It sort of has like the Ronda Rousey effect, the Kingslayer effect, to where someone has like a big tumble or they have a bad season and people just don't see them recovering from it. I think that's more of just the entertainment aspect of it because, I mean, look, even Mike Tyson lost his handful of fights. Like, no one's going to be perfect all the time, every day. That's what makes boxing great. That's what makes Rocky great. That's what makes all the movies great, is seeing people, struggle and come up from a deficit. But in this sort of hyper fixation boxing world where they just want to see the highlight and then move on to the next, I'd say the cultural zeitgeist around boxing does not favor that very much. And I unfortunately think that Ryan Garcia is in that boat. Same thing with the other fighter that I really like, Shakur Stevenson. I try to defend Shakur so freaking much, but every time people say that he's not an entertaining fighter, I'm like, well, you just want to see the knockout artist. You want to see like the pretty boy Floyd. You want to see that. That's fine. But I like Shakur for his application of the sweet science. Not everybody's going to watch that, though. I mean, even my man Showbiz, he said, if you ever want to find out a way to beat your narcolepsy or beat your insomnia, watch a Shakur Stevenson fight. I said that was tough.
Did him dirty.
That was pretty sad. And half of it, I do think, might be because of the injury. People are going to say that, oh, you're just making excuses. No, I think his hand injury might be a serious problem, and that's something that we don't talk about, but it is an unfortunate consequence of when you're fighting. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Subriel Matias, and he fought somebody, and that man didn't make it out the ring. Well, he made it out the ring, but that man passed away. You see what happens to people in the ring, but you're not there for what's outside of the ring. And I think, they are still people at the end of the day, but we are sort of trapped in this weird commodification where we want to use them for entertainment and nothing more. But I look at boxing a little bit more layered than that.
Yeah. I will say about the few names you mentioned, Abdullah Mason, I was like, whoa, you're talking about like a really early. I mean, he fought Sam Noakes on the Devin Haney versus, or was the Benavidez? It was the Benavidez. That was the main event. It was on the Benavidez Yard card in November, and that was the first step up Abdullah Mason really had. I don't see him being a superstar. I just don't see him having the skill to do it. Josh Kelly is one of my least favorite fighters in boxing. I'm sorry, bro. Like you got this pretty boy, white boy.
Post Avenida, because that's almost 2 different people. He got the beard and everything. I was like, nah, that's not even the same person no more.
But bro, mean, you got this. I just don't like him. Like he's like, look, I'm this pretty boy, white boy who coming in here, like coming from the Olympics, looking all good, and he's just like, look how slick I am. Then every time he steps up, he lost, and it's not even stepping up. He fought Avanesian and he lost. I don't rate Josh Kelly at all.
I mean, yeah, that was more of I would think that's because of the blood loss. I mean, his face was red. He's a bleeder. Like he's a bleeder. I don't think
I used to replay that one a lot because I like seeing that. I don't like that dude personally, but I'm not. It sounds like you like him, so I won't go too hard on him. But Shakur, it's funny you mentioned Shakur. I had a dream about Shakur last night. Like, I don't know, like I was talking bad about him on Twitter, and then like he just came and like wanted to fight me. It was the weirdest. But Shakur Stevenson, if he beats Teofimo, I don't think when you're a superstar, like the top name box, you gotta have a personality alongside of it. Like fighting Teofimo already lost, and I think Teofimo's not mentally there. Like Teofimo's another guy. I feel if we're looking for personality. Let me think of a personality that would.
Personality is a good one because I say Teofimo's got personality. And like I follow him too, and I've had a couple of comments. He's liked a couple of comments. Be cool. So this is all professional.
Yeah, I'd say Rolly Romero. I know it's a crazy shout, but I think Rolly Romero has a great personality. He definitely does have the skill. He beat Ryan Garcia, but he's not beating anybody anytime soon. Rolly Romero, I think if a guy has a personality like Rolly and they have the skill of like a boots tennis, then you can make a superstar. But right now, I don't know anyone like Shakur. I don't know if he has all the talent. We'll see when he fights Tio, and I don't think he has a personality. So we're just gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but a bad thing because you want to say personality. I could equally counter with Adrian Broner. Like I like Adrian Broner, but he do way too damn much, man. He talks too much trash. He gets a little too full of himself, and then when you have a loss like that, you just see the decline. So, I mean, yeah, there is the personality aspect, but I'm looking for a fighter that's entertaining to watch for the sake of fighting, and that's what I do enjoy about who we have now. Abdullah Mason. I mean, we'll see. We've got some more fights to come up in the future. One person that I thought was pretty good was Edgar Berlanga. I thought Berlanga had it because he had like a 93% knockout potential before he had that fight with Canelo.
No, it was like he had like 15 first-round knockouts in a row.
Yeah, 15
It's all set up. It was all set up for him. Berlanga's never been good. When we fought Shiraz, he got exposed. Canelo's declining too. Canelo carried him. Canelo really carried that dude for 12 rounds.
I'm sorry, but the past 3 fights that I saw with the exception of Crawford, because I was busy during that one too. But I predicted his past 3 fights down to the T. When he fought Jaime Munguia, when he fought Edgar Berlanga, I say he's going to do a clean knockdown like the 3rd round for Berlanga, and then the 6th round with Jaime Munguia, and then he's going to walk him down for the rest of the fights. And I was like, once you see that that's how the fights go, I'm not going to say it's rigged. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm just saying, a fighter is that's how he's going to do things. Another fighter that I thought was going down that route was Lomachenko. Because when Lomachenko fought Teofimo, I said, you know what? If Lomachenko just stepped on the gas, I think Teofimo wouldn't. I don't think he would have won.
Right. He did have a shoulder injury in that fight. And that was like one of Tio's best performances. So,
yeah. And the past 3 that he had, because I saw his fight late last year, he's kind of just like walking over these guys. So who's really going to be the person that's gonna give them like a clash? Because I'd say the last time we saw that was maybe the triple threat between Wilder, Joshua, and Fury. And I know everyone's going to talk about Wilder and all that, but that was really just the triple threat of the heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. So who is going to mimic or replicate that? And I think the next time we have that is really going to be I take that back. Beterbiev versus Bivol was the last time I saw something like that.
Yeah,
the first one and the second one. And I'm sorry, Beterbiev won that first fight. I don't want to hear nothing about no punch count. He won that first fight fair and square. Did I want Bivol to win? Yeah, but come on, the better fighter won that one.
I disagree. I thought Bivol won them both 8-4. I just felt he outclassed him. Beterbiev was just hitting gloves. He couldn't hit him clean. But hey, the decision's a decision. They're 1-1 right now. So I can't say. I don't want to get into a whole discussion. If you felt he won, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
And he took his own. So it's like, hey, no one's gonna walk out with a clean record.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're both kind of doing our own independent interview series. What inspired you to do yours, and what's your goal with it?
Honestly, it was more for like I feel like rude for saying this, but I feel like for myself, for like more views on me particularly. My Angelo Leo interview that I uploaded, I uploaded it on the 31st, so 2 days ago. and it was recorded back in November. But the guy who I got the interview from was like, he was with a boxing team, and he was like, "You want to be part of the boxing team?" I was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Okay, you're not going to upload the interview. Can I upload it?" And then he didn't get back to me for like a month. So I was like, "Okay, I'm just going to upload it." I didn't sign anything. Like one of my friends was like, "Yo, be careful doing that. Like you could get in legal trouble." I'm like, "I didn't sign anything, bro." And I haven't been, the dude hasn't said anything to me about it yet, so I'm okay. But
and trust me, stuff like that happens all the time because I have even my most recent one. I waited about a month and a half to do it just for reasons.
Yeah, but the other ones, all the other interviews I got were naturally by myself. Like the Angelo Leo interview, like, but I realized when I interviewed Angelo Leo, like, I don't want to interview fighters. Like, I want to do something bigger with my life. Like, I want to be the person being interviewed, like something like this. I want to be the star of the show per se. Like, if I get a really big interview, like if I got Terrence Crawford, I'd be down. If I got Dimitri Bivol, I'd be down. But like, I don't want to be interviewing smaller guys anymore. Like, I already interviewed Ryan Garcia. I feel like just getting the interviews was just like so I could get more eyes on me as the interviewer. So that's what it was for me to like get more eyes on me, actually. But like I like talking to fighters. I wanted to have Jamal Herring here. I'm good friends with him. I wanted to talk to him about another interview just to talk boxing with him because I like him. But I don't think you're gonna see me like interview fighters, like a lot of fighters soon. Like I want to do my own thing. I want to fight. I want to be interviewed. I want to have lots of, so that's why it was just for me mostly. It sounds crazy to say, but it was for me, dude.
I mean, yeah, everybody's got to find a way to cut their teeth on something. I mean, if this is really what you're passionate about, why not go for it? I would try to interview a fighter, but I almost had an incident. It was actually at the Garcia fight. I almost got punched in the face by Caleb Plant. I kind of pissed him off. I was just asking for an autograph, and I had him sign one of my hand wraps or whatever, and I dapped him up like this, and I was like, he's like, "Hey man, what you doing?" I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Thank you for it." He said, "You pulling me in too close, like you have to step off." I was like, "Let me just get out of here before I get clocked across the face." Matter of fact, I got it over there. Hold on.
Nah. What, dude? Yeah. So you like dapped him and like dapped him too close apparently.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey man, like why you pulling on me like that?" I was like, "Oh man, hey, look, I ain't mean it like that. Like it wasn't like that." He said, "All right, now go somewhere." So I was like, "You know what? Let me not cause no problems here at."
So he said, "Go somewhere else." Like he was rude. Like damn, bro.
Nah, I think I might have just pissed him off, and I was like, "Okay, let me not."
Bro,
do that.
I met Caleb, and he was
a party foul.
Dude, I met Caleb at the Gervonta Frank Martin fight, and he was the nicest. He was the nicest dude for me. He dapped me up. I didn't even like. He was like, "Oh, you're friends with Ryan Garcia," and this is when Ryan pissed him off. Like he threw a beer bottle at Ryan that fight for talking about his wife.
That's why. That's because I said, "Hey man, what's your opinion on Ryan Garcia?" He said, "Nah, I ain't cool with Ryan Garcia." And I said, "Oh," and when he said that, like he did like this, and I pulled back. I said, "Oh, my bad. I didn't realize that was a faux pas." And he said, "Hey, why you pulling me?" I was like, "Okay, I think I might have hit a soft spot." I don't know. That probably wasn't a smart move.
Oh, well, dude, no, he asked me, and I was like, I'm not friends with Ryan. I wasn't friends with Ryan. I was like, Ryan will be blocked. And there was a little tension at first, but I told him, like, hey, man, I support you. I support your wife. And then he, like, smiled, he, like, dabbed me up, and I got a picture with him, and he was chilling and everything. But that's crazy, bro. Yeah. You had that experience.
And I was like, how much of it is, like, yeah, it is a sport, and these are human beings. We all got to support each other just as people that are fans of the sport itself. Like, yeah, the celebrity stuff, how much of that is just gossip? How much of that is fanfare? But how much of it is, like, no, I really have a lot of ire for this dude. Because I really don't have a lot of ire for anybody, really.
You have what?
I don't have a lot of hate or indignation towards anybody, really. I really just see all this as just commentary. Any points that I make is not about the person or the individual. It's more about just the sport itself. Like I still think Beterbiev have won that fight because what's one of the four principles of boxing? Ring generalship, defense, clean punches, and aggression. And I'm sorry, I think he just had the better ring generalship, and he had the better defense on that first fight. But that's not to be like a slight towards Bivol or anybody else.
Right.
But no, and it's just all social media and just stuff like that too. So I wonder how much of that was just like, did I really piss him off, or how much of that was a faux pas? Or what are those few things you shouldn't talk about, shouldn't ask about? But yeah, man, try to cut your teeth on that. I'm really trying to do something similar. Look, I know somebody that knows Steve Kim of the 3 knockdown rule, and that's pretty cool. A friend of mine that's up here across the street, he knows some pretty prominent people in the boxing world. So I'm like, hey, we're all in this giant pool together.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself like a pretty well-known individual in the boxing community. Like I'm not trying to be like narcissistic or anything, but I've been in this community for a while now. I got like thousands of followers, and I think that people know me, and if bro, you're one of my friends. Like usually, I've had people ask me for interviews, and I kind of like they were weird about it. They were just like, "Oh, yo, give me your phone number," and they were like immediate about it, and I was just like, I don't know, but I was kind of hesitant. But like I've been close with you for a while now, like DMing you for a minute, so I was like, you know what, yeah, I'll talk to him, but.
Sorry for being MIA for a little while. I've been busy. And look, Twitter is not a real place. Twitter is just a place for stupidity. So anything that I post and nothing like that, that's just me being stupid. But when it comes to boxing, I might branch out. I don't know. I might have a boxing Twitter page for I can put stuff like this on because Twitter is just not a real place. I'm sorry. It just isn't. It's just stupidity. And I see some of the people that you go back and forth with, like, and I like it and I laugh at it. I'm like, man, he really is getting those dudes nerves going back and forth. Like, I'm expecting the office honcho or somebody to be like, oh, yeah, he responded to this dude named Jack Alter on Twitter, and they had like a little beef back and forth. I don't know. I might see a video where someone throws a beer bottle at you or something like that. I'm like, yeah, this is just internet beef. It is what it is.
Dude, yeah, everyone, especially at the fights online, people will tell you that. Like, I remember somebody particularly, like I said, I'm going to the Gervonta Davis Frank Martin fight, and I remember one guy in particular was like, okay, Jack Alter, like I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna curb stomp you. When I see you, I'm gonna curb stomp you and I'm gonna fight you. And he said, I'm gonna like, and I was like, okay, bro. Like I wasn't scared. I was just like, I doubt this will happen. I was looking in the back of my mind, like gonna expect somebody to come up on me, and this was like before I didn't have as many followers as I did. This was like a year and a half ago, and when I went there, one guy came up to me, he said, yo, you Jack Alter? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yo, can I get a picture? And I was like, yeah, bro, for sure. Bro, but I thought it was that dude. I thought it was going to happen. I was nervous. I was like, oh, shit, you're going to have to like fade this dude right here. Like,
and that's nothing like that. A lot of people are doing now. Like, especially on, like, I don't know if you've been to Vegas, because I've been in the Mayweather Club, a handful of times. Like, I just walk the strip and tour, just do silly stuff like that. But like seeing the stuff that people do, like on Kick and stuff like that, like seeing people just act stupid on stream and things like that, like. That's something you got to contend with because people just take things too seriously. Like people take the internet a little too far. So yeah, that is something you got to worry about. Like, yeah, on one hand it is content, but people can take content a little too far.
Absolutely, bro. If people do anything for clout, people do anything for clout.
Nothing I say on Twitter. Anything I say on Twitter is 70% me being stupid.
You know what's funny though? You know who hit me up today, and I actually like backtracked. Amanda Serrano, like she replied to one of my tweets. I didn't even add her. She was just like, "Hi." Oh, did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even at her, but I made a tweet and then she responded to it and she's like, hi, I don't know who you are, but blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, hi, Miss Serrano, I'm Jack. And she has like 200,000 followers and she's like with Jake Paul and shit. So I immediately looked up Serrano Taylor. Like, and I looked at my post. I shit on her so much, bro. I shit on her so much. I was like, yo, Serrano, you a bitch. You lost 3 times. I had to delete every tweet before I followed her. I shit on her so much, bro. I had to delete every single tweet I made about her.
And 50% of the time, I'm like, okay, is this like someone that's managing their account that's like just, getting for engagement, or is this like really the person that
right,
they
exactly.
really read this stuff? So it's like, okay, like, yeah, if you are in a sport like that, like imagine if you're Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whatever, you're not going to sit down for like 2 hours and watch everything that everyone says about you. You're not going to go through every retweet.
I did just in case though, because
are you? Do I have to worry about somebody showing up at my house somewhere?
Yeah, some people might though, because I know Virgil Ortiz. He was a good friend of mine, and I still talk to Virgil occasionally. But there was some guy that like asked for an interview, and Virgil responded to him where he looked up his name on that guy's account, Virgil Ortiz. He looked up Virgil Ortiz with, I think his name's Taylor Higgins. He looked it up and he said something bad about Virgil, and Virgil responded to the tweet of the guy asking for an interview saying, what's this, huh? No, look, I was like, yo!
Repost, this you?
Yes, I was like, bro, the fear is real, bro. Like, they actually do that shit sometimes.
Nah. That's not what this was going to be. This is just supposed to be more like in-house stuff. I don't know. I might just make like I don't know. I might make a burner Twitter just for stuff like that, because my main thing is just like video games and just silly stuff. But this is just me collecting things now, and it's not going to be acrimonious or adversarial or anything like that. But
right.
Have you been to Vegas, right?
Yeah, I've been to Vegas like 3 times, and that tank fight was in Vegas.
Yep, at the T-Mobile Arena. Vegas never gets old, man. I love it. Every time I go there, I make sure I hit up the Mayweather Boxing Club and just do a bunch of cool stuff out there. I'll walk the strip, or I'll go to the T-Mobile Arena. Always catch something in boxing. Matter of fact, I was at the Benavidez Morrell fight. because I was busy out there, and I just so happened to be there for that weekend. So I was like, okay, I got a work trip over there. Let me just get some tickets real quick. Went up there, and who did I see at the Benavides? John Easter. I got a photo with John Easter.
Who's that?
He was on the undercard for that fight.
Oh, okay. Is that brother Robert Easter?
No, Candyman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
But one thing after the fight, I went up to go get a beer, and I went to go, just see something, and I just saw him walking around in his trunks and in his full garb and stuff. And I was like, hey man, can I get a photo? So I got a photo of him with my hand wraps and all that. Same way I did with Caleb Plant. 17 tried to punch me in the face.
Right. Hey, real quick.
This is the place for that.
Yeah, I wanted to say something because I know you said Twitter. You should make a Twitter like for burner boxing or whatever. But dude, it's funny because for me, like I feel like I really have to stay on point for boxing for my Twitter because like I'm really into music. Like I love music. Music is like my second love behind boxing. And it's like I have guys like Anthony Fantano, like the music review guy. Like he's like the biggest music reviewer in the world. He's the bald guy with glasses and the needle drop on YouTube. I'm mutuals with the guy. And I like want to hit him up for an interview, but I'm like, dude, it's so weird because everything on my account, all the 5,000 followers I got are all for boxing. So it's really hard for me to branch out into my other interests because people just know me as the boxing guy. And I don't think people want to hear me talk. It's like for that guy, for example, all that dude talks about is music. People wouldn't want to hear him talk about like boxing, for example. So like, I don't know. It's tough. You really got to stay in your lane, You
don't want to see your favorite boxer, on Twitch or whatever. Because I've seen like T-Pain on Twitch. Not a dig at him, but just seeing people, it's hard to amass like their interest because if you're known as the boxing guy or the music guy, and then you break into Twitch and then start playing video games, you're gonna either attract a different audience that you're now trying to get into that don't know you for your primary talent, or people are just not going to be interested in that. And then when you have so many different branching points, it's hard to get into. That's why the silver bullet is like the tagline is I shoot my interest, and I'm interested in boxing. I'm interested in competitive shooting. I've been trying to get a hold of some people that do firearm stuff. It's just been scheduling is just a nightmare. Like thank God you were able to get back to me because I have messaged people. I've had a negotiation with somebody for about 3 years to have like a 30-minute conversation on something, and this person lives in the same city. Like I see him every couple of months or so, and like we have not been able to just sit down and get something going on. They're also going through a diagnosis too, so they've got some health issues and stuff like that. So like I get that, but being able to just like send a DM while I'm also, playing Titanfall or whatever, and just be like, hey, let's just, chop this up. Let's see if we can get this done in a week. I really appreciate that because I've been trying to get this done with the silver bullet because that's really what all this is about. I'm trying to see if I can get a hold of someone else that deals with firearm stuff and maybe some more boxing stuff too. We'll see in the coming years. I mean, I'm pretty busy. I got a lot going on.
Honestly, I would get more followers if I were you because it feels like to me you just vibe. Like you just vibe on Twitter. Like you're not trying to like get a big following. So like the reason why I've talked to you though is because like I know this dude. He's very familiar, very nice guy. I've talked to him for a while now, so I'm comfortable talking to him for an interview. But like if there's guys with like my following on Twitter, like Art Man, like those guys probably won't give you an interview because like you don't like the only reason that is because I know you're a nice guy and I've talked to you for.
Like we've
somebody with 70 followers, and that's not like a shot at you. You're just like a chill, laid back guy. Yeah. But like if somebody with like if I never talked to you before, I'll be like, I don't know, like should I do this?
Actually, because I've done some other stuff too. Because I do the Convo series, like for like anime conventions. Like you've seen like the cosplay stuff that I've done, and I've done most of that more like on Instagram because it's easier and it's more accessible. Like I literally just flick up my phone and do an Instagram live, and then bang, it's right there. So matter of fact, let me see if I can make sure I get your Instagram afterwards for that too, because like it's hard to manage different types of content because this isn't my day job. Like I'm not sitting here doing this 24/7. I literally just woke up, cleaned my apartment, and it was like, hey, let me see if I can just get an interview. I might take an hour or two to edit this. I might go to the bar, get a drink, and then come back and just sorry, there's some people yelling outside, something like that. No, I might go to the bar, get a drink, and just chill out a little bit later. So like, this isn't my day job. So having to manage all that, it gets real difficult. So it's real cool that we were able to do this, and hopefully the silver bullet can sort of like conglomerate all those interests together. Because I didn't know that you did music. Like I know I followed you for a long time, but I'm mostly just like if ever I'm on Twitter, it's for video game foolishness, and a little bit of boxing too, especially with the new fights coming up. But trying to consolidate all of that can be a little tricky. But do you prioritize that over actually competitively fighting? Because what I would hope is if you pick one lane, fighting or content creation, I could be like, hey, Jack, remember when you did episode 2 with a silver bullet,
Right.
and now you about to go for the championship? Hey, remember that?
Yeah, bro.
Is that the lane that you're trying to go to now?
Honestly, I feel like content creation is just a leap towards competitive fighting. It's just a leap towards, but also I want to, there's so many things I want to do in my life, bro. Like I'm such an ambitious person. I have so many things I want to do. So I will say, I feel like content creation, I could still do both. I could still do both, right now, like 2025 was just a crazy, it was the worst. I said on my Twitter, I was like, yo, it was the worst year of my life. So let's hope 2026 is better. So this year I'm just going to post as much as I can. Like on TikTok, I'm doing really well too. I have more followers on TikTok than I do on Twitter. Actually, I have I think I'm at 7,000 on TikTok, and I'm at a few million likes on there, which is really good. But I'm thinking that it's a stepping stone to competitive fighting, for influencer fighting. But I'll still do content creation, dude. I can do it all. I can make music too. We'll figure everything out. I'm still young. Both of us are, both in our 20s. I would say both, honestly.
And I did it when I was in college. I don't know if you did any post-secondary education or secondary schooling or things like that, but I'm trying to hopefully get my academic career going. If I end up going in that direction, I truly do not know. I have something that's going on. They're just doing whatever they want to do outside. But yeah, in the next week or two, my fate is decided on what my career is going to look like. So I really don't know. This is something that I'm doing as a secondary thing. But if it leads to something greater, I mean, why not go for it? I mean, cut your teeth on something. Right. But I do think managing content creation and boxing is sort of going to be the future, because I mean, if all you do is boxing and you're just the guy that is not on Twitter or not on any of these social media platforms and not doing anything bombastic or crazy like on the Misfits or anything like that, you're gonna get just consumed by the ether and consumed by all the either the really cool stuff or the real stupid stuff that goes on there. So that's sort of the challenge going into the late 2020s, and with 2026 coming up, I mean, we'll see.
It's scary you're saying late 2020s, bro. I mean, it's the first day of the late 2020s. It's January.
10 years ago, I was graduating high school.
Yeah. I graduated 2020, bro. So I was the COVID year. So I missed my graduation.
I was a junior. I was a junior in college because I did a prep year and then pushed up. But yeah, no, I missed my dance and everything. I don't know if I told you that story, but yeah, I missed the dance and everything. And then 2020 being the COVID years, and then immediately going into the workforce afterwards, or whatever everyone else was doing afterwards. It really did just shake the snow globe, and I don't know how I'm going to recover. I don't know a lot of people probably don't know how they're going to recover, but one thing that I think, at least with the new year coming in, is we have so much to look forward to.
Absolutely, bro. And I really want to, I'm going to work my hardest this year. Because, there's a lot of people that want to see me lose, a lot of people that want to see me win. And I just want to, prove to all those people, when I lock in, I'm capable of doing something great. And already I think I'm really hard on myself. I need to take pride in dude, you have 5,000 followers on Twitter that you built all by posting clips for years of just boxing stuff. You didn't buy followers. Of course I don't have 1 million followers like some people, but maybe I will be there someday. I just got to stop being so hard on myself. And that's the issue I deal with, being hard on myself. But, we're just going to see what happens this year, man. Maybe it could go terribly. It could be worse than 2025.
Maybe it could get that. Maybe it could go terribly. 2026. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Bro, if it's worse than 2025, I'll probably die, bro. Honestly, it's bad because 2025 was really bad for me.
Yeah. No, 2025 was a tough year, but yeah, this is the year where a lot of major pivotal decisions are going to be made. Just on my end, on the dark side of my 20s, and you with what you have, especially being 24. 24 is still a good year to fight, but it's not like you're coming in out at 18.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, bro, I realized, I started boxing when I was 14, but 24, if I really wanted to, I could get into pro boxing and I could still have you got to realize something. Here's one thing I want to say, there's a boxing age and then there's an age in general. So when Canelo Alvarez fought Terrence Crawford, if you look at that, Canelo was born in 90 and Crawford was born in 87. So I think Crawford's 38 and Canelo's 35. Crawford is 35 years old, but he went pro at 21 and only has had like one fight a year the past couple of years. Crawford is older than Canelo Alvarez, but in terms of boxing years, he's actually a lot younger. Crawford's really like, he's like 40, but he's really like 30 in terms of boxing years. And Canelo, even though Canelo's like 35, he's like 45 in terms of boxing years because he's been pro since he was 15 years old. So like me, I'm 24, but like if I got into boxing right now, I could probably go until I'm like 43 because like I haven't been boxing like crazy. I don't have those years on me. I don't have all that.
The professional training level.
Yeah, I don't have that wear and tear.
Oh, like they said, like the NFL players got a shelf life of about 5 years because of how much punishment they're consistently going through. But as a boxer, and some people are just there. Some people are just one major fight away from something life changing, like what happened with Patrick Colon. Like that's a tragedy, of course. But you never know what's that one fight that could really change the trajectory of someone's life versus what is just an accumulation of fights that could show the golden age of someone's career. And I don't know, maybe there might be some fighters that want to do it well into their 40s, but I mean, we still have a giant 2 in front of our ages. So people say that we still have tons of time, but it don't always feel like that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm 24. I sound very young. I look very young. Same thing with you. Like sound very young, look very young. But it's like, everyone on social media is like 19. It's like everyone we see who's blowing up, like that Jack Doherty kid, that dude's like 21. And it's just that Neon kid, he's like 21. And it just makes you feel bad. It's just like, dang, dude.
Like, what was I doing when I was 21? What color is my Bugatti? And why is it?
Yeah, I know, right?
What color is it? Oh, speaking of, did you see? So I didn't even know that was happening. The whole Andrew Tate fight. I didn't realize that was happening. I had been so consumed with so much other stuff, man. And I know that's like the big rage in the combat, the combat sport world right now. What's your take?
I don't like Andrew Tate at all. I think the guy's an absolute idiot. I thought him. I didn't see the fight, but I saw the highlights and it looked very terrible. He was fought Chase Demore, who's like a Misfits guy, and he got whooped. Apparently, like almost got knocked out. But they both looked terrible, apparently. And I thought that was I don't know. It was good to see Andrew Tate lose. I'm not big on the other guy either. I don't know much about him, but I'm just gonna be real with you, bro. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
I mean, all I did was I just asked your opinion because like I'm just talking solely about boxing here, not the whole, because he's quite a character. I'm not tripping about that. But what I think is people often forget that being a professional kickboxer and being a boxer and being someone in MMA, those are drastically different disciplines. Like I remember what was it, Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, and I said, look, the biggest question that I wanted to ask was, is the cardio that is done in MMA when you're striking, grappling, wrestling, doing jiu-jitsu, doing all that, a champion UFC fight is like what, 5-minute rounds? Is the cardio and the athleticism in that commiserate to, or is it anywhere comparable to 12 3-minute rounds of professional boxing where you're just doing boxing? Me personally, I didn't think so. I think those are drastically different disciplines. I think it takes a different level of IQ to do those different things. So I didn't expect someone who's at a higher age, who's pretty much experienced with kickboxing, to rock it as a boxer. I didn't expect that. Now, as in terms of the fanfare and stuff, good on you for getting in the ring and going in there and, hey, get your face bloody. Because look, everyone that rags on someone that loses, well, guess what? You didn't fight that day. Right. You were able to say like, hey, he got knocked out from the comfort of your own couch. And that's just more of like what I call the commentary, just the, Twitter not being a real place full of 19-year-old AI bots. I get that. But in terms of what it does for the sport or what it does for the conversation around the sport, that's really what's important to me.
Yeah, and it's what's with Andrew Tate, it's not necessarily like I don't agree with him like politically or like whatever he talks about. It's honestly like it's kind of is the kickboxing thing because he acts like he's this tough guy. And dude, in kickboxing, there was like 100 different world titles. He says he's a world like champion in kickboxing, dude. That is so drastically different than being a world champion in like boxing. Like there's so many it's not even that impressive when you really when you look into it. So that's kind of my ick with him. Like he says he's a world champion. Dude, he's just a kickboxer. He kickboxed a few fights. Like that's it. And what I say, dude, if I went in kickboxing, I'd probably lose to him, right? Because I'm not a kickboxer. But I'm just being real. I'm being real.
Yeah. it's like when you do that, when you cross over into different worlds, it's like what's like that was kind of my opinion about Jake Paul. I was like, yeah, let him get in, let him have his commentary. But when you come into a new sport like boxing, from whatever discipline you came from, whether it was Vine or what or all that other stuff, cool. But you got to go through the process like everybody else because he got walked in that fight with Tommy Fury, that Tommy Fury fight. And he wanted to come out like he won that fight today. I was like, no, man, you took an L. Just like you got to admit, boxing is not, the cakewalk that you thought it was. Like it's not something you can just wake up and do. But of course, it gets the people talking because of all the stuff that you see on Twitter. And me personally, like I'm be honest, I don't care about half of that stuff. I truly don't. But if it's involving the boxing world, because I don't know, what I thought was maybe he was going to take that as his own entertainment network and then start doing his promotion there because he does a bunch of other stuff, and that may give us a new thing to talk about. What talent can he recruit? What people are coming through that, because we're all on Twitter watching, making memes about this dude taking an L, but then we end up there's a big payday coming from it because now this is a new vector for boxing. I try to look at everything from the 500 the 50,000 foot look, but that was just one thing, because one thing I want to see a wrestler, and not like WWE. I mean like a Olympic wrestler, because I did a little bit of wrestling. I really trained with them. I didn't wrestle competitively, but I trained with some of the guys that did wrestling at the college level, and that conditioning and the work that they do is crazy. It's not the same as getting hit in the face all the time, but their conditioning is wild, and that's really what UFC was about. But I like seeing that compared to a boxer.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro.
But
I don't know much about wrestling, honestly.
Yeah. I haven't got into it. I have many disciplines. I don't know. I'll try to see if I could get a hold of somebody who does like Wing Chun and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, Wing Chun's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely not my lane. Like I was talking to some guy at work recently, and he was talking about like what you know about MMA, and I was like, you know what? Like in terms of comparing myself to an average person, like MMA knowledge, because I'm in boxing, I know more MMA than 99% of people. But compared to like a hardcore, I know absolutely nothing. Like I know Habib, Habib used to fight. I can't believe I said Habib, but like Hamzat Shemaev, like I know that guy and stuff. I know a bunch of UFC guys, but compared to the like hardcore fan, I know absolutely nothing because boxing is my lane. That's my bread and butter. That's what I know most about.
Yeah. I wish I could. I could. I just haven't had the time to watch more One Championship, because I feel like that's like the larger talent pool that's not being seen. Like Angela Lee, and the other fighter that I was a really huge fan of, Rika Ishige, but she's not fighting as much anymore. So yeah, like MMA is something that I just kind of fell off of. Like I was in the days of like Chuck Liddell, Shogun Rua, stuff like that, but that's not where we are now. So I don't see it as much. Now, if I go to Vegas and I see a fight and I like, hey, I heard this guy, I heard Pereira's name. Sure, I'll put $20 to see if he wins. But outside of that, I haven't studied that discipline as much. But I like it when I see other people from those disciplines get involved in boxing, or it hasn't happened yet, but seeing boxing go into that, because it's really just the entire combat sport game. Because at the end of the day, it is a game. It's a sport. It is competition, and I'm really here for the conversation on the competition.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah. But that's all I got. But Fred, last minute questions. Like, what do you see going on in the next like 5 years for Jack Alter?
That's a great question. Honestly, there's going to be a lot of shit this year. This is going to be a really crazy year. This is probably going to be the year, where like things really happen the most. I want to have at least one fight this year, like a public like misfits brand risk. I'm posting TikToks every single day. I'm posting multiple Twitter posts every single day. I'm just going to lock in work. The next 5 years, I'll say 6, because when I turn 30. So the rest of my 20s, because I'm 24 right now, you're just going to see hard work. You're going to see some spotlight on me. You're going to see me in the spotlight. I'm going to be straight up. I'm not trying to be like a narcissist or anything, but I'm saying you'll see me in the spotlight. You'll see me doing my thing. You'll see me fighting. I might even make some music, because I love music. And I wouldn't make bad music, because I know ball. I know how to make good music too. Making music, boxing, commentating boxing, watching boxing, talking boxing. Man,
like locals, because I've been to like a couple of like local shows that no one knows about, and I think those things are not shined upon as much. Like I had like back when I lived in Florida, there was like a little fighting league there, and it was like that was kind of like the talk of the town there, but no one outside of that city will ever know what that's about. But I'm like, yeah, I think we need to shine more light on like the local tourneys and stuff if they do it right, because some of them do like some silly stuff.
Yeah, I think I just want something bigger, bro. Like honestly, like local stuff. Like I want something more, bro. I want something more. You know, I want something bigger.
Yep. And plus or minus one thing, if you could have it right now, that would increase your station in life or take away something that you feel like is a hindrance. What do you think it would be?
Uh, my ex, she keeps nagging me, bro. So I'll say that. No comment, no more comments, no more questions. End the interview. My ex, she keeps nagging me, bro. So that's it. That's it. That's the minus. Okay, honestly,
That's a problem that I'm glad I don't have.
you be happy you don't have that. I would say, yeah, my ex keeps bothering me. That'd be the minus. The plus, no, I think I have everything I need right now, bro. Yeah, the ex, honestly, that's real. That's real, bro. That's real, dog.
Hey man, things happen. Look, that's gonna be in a documentary. So in about 6 years, I'm gonna be doing a documentary on what happened, how you went pro, and how all this stuff comes on. This is gonna be like a Netflix documentary. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do my own that rivals that because Netflix just wants to pump out some weird stuff all the time. I'm like, no, let me get the facts because you heard it first on the Silver Bullet. That's how it ended up.
Yes, sir. Hey, that was fun, bro. This was great. This was really great. Post it. You need to post this everywhere, bro, because this was great chemistry between us. It really was.
Yeah, Twitter is for stupidity, but I'm actually setting some things up to get it on different platforms to like consolidate all the stuff because I have another interview that hopefully I will get before the next couple of weeks. It's going to be on something totally different, but this is something this is just the totality of my being. So with that concludes the episode 2 of the Silver Bullet. Thank you for everything. All right.